Champions, welcome back to the Paladins Invitational here at Hi-Res Expo 2017. Brought to you by Twitch Prime. My name is Vox, joined by a brand new face to the casting screen. The casting scene here today, it is none other than my dear friend and partner in crime, Alan, I hold shift, Donofrio.
Well, I have to say, I kind of feel like I'm coming off the bench here. Like
Yeah.
we're halfway through all the rounds, and it's just been I've been watching. I'm almost like Kami. Maybe we'll see Kami come back on stage tomorrow. He'll be coming right off the bench as well. Maybe we won't see him. Who knows?
Oh my goodness, maybe we will indeed. For those of you watching at home, there's something else which you will be seeing very shortly, however. Do not forget that all throughout this broadcast, and just in general, we have got Twitch linking enabled for all of you watching via Twitch at home. All you've got to do is visit hiresstudios.com/link to link up your twitch.tv accounts with your Hi-Res accounts and have a chance at earning in-game swag just for watching this stream.
Yeah, it's the easiest and quickest way to get in-game items. But on top of that, if you want to spend a little bit of in-game currency and get some exclusives that we've seen just promoted through just this Hi-Res Expo in general, labeled with that 2017 logo, you can find the Hi-Res Digital Loot Pack in-game as well. And there's a lot of great stuff there. A number of skins, Fernando's blue shield, and the suit, the full suit.
The branded shield as well. It's got the logo on there, man. It's fantastic. We've also got the Convention 2017 Ying and Victor's limited time skin as well for the Invitational. Everything looks gorgeous. We've got some victory poses, there's MVP poses.
The trophy one.
Oh, fantastic. And the sprays to boot as well. So you can spray all over the walls, say, hey, we were at Paladins Esports before anything else began. For the time being, though, for those of you just joining us, let's take a look at the schedule from earlier today to see what matches have already been played and how the scores are looking for Group A on day one.
And everything that's been going on as far as things for this schedule has been really building up to what this last back half is going to look like. Everything's been 3-0 sweeps. We saw this very regularly as things were really going for District 69. We expected that outcome, I think, mostly. And Matchpoint also flexing in that last round. They get a chance to come back. But the big storyline here, QG and Black Dragons have each played 2. Black Dragons in a little bit of a rough spot at being 0-2, but QG right now has their own fate in their own hands. If they can take down Matchpoint, they'll be sitting at 2-1, and they'll be looking like they'll be a favorite to get into the semifinals.
Now that does sound like a tall order. Matchpoint, the self-proclaimed #1 team in North America and the world, if they're to be trusted, although that is yet to be proven, will be facing QG, who did beat out Black Dragons. Black Dragons put up a decent fight at times against Matchpoint, so I'm seeing a little glimmer of hope there. They might be able to throw some shade their way, and Matchpoint versus QG will be the next set coming up yet. But we've got 2 more after that, and what are we going to be seeing?
The big key is as we build down to match number 6, District 69 will show up on stage one more time to face up against Black Dragons. That'll be almost like, I guess, their tune-up as far as getting themselves re-warmed up. And again, the perennial matchup that we're really looking at in the premier showcase here is this #1 seeded qualified Matchpoint team from North America versus the #2 qualified team in District 69 from Europe.
They are the #2 seed coming out of Europe, but they are your previous LAN champions, having won the Paladins Founders Tournament at DreamHack Summer in Jönköping, Sweden earlier in 2016. So there's a lot of weight behind them, and I feel like a lot of responsibility for their region because they've got such a big reputation behind them. But Matchpoint and Team QG coming up next. We've seen them both a couple of times before, but I wonder if we're going to have any kind of switch-ups coming in the map drafting phase.
You know, the map drafting phase is very interesting, I think, especially as QG takes a look at it, because they have not had the experience to play up, or really, I mean, they've done their homework on Matchpoint, but the thing about Matchpoint is they're so well rehearsed. I mean, these guys are incredible. They're 15, now 16-1 since dating back before the Ever Winners Classic. They're 94% win rate on just sets in general. It's 42-5 on maps. You don't have a safe pick against Matchpoint.
Which is pretty nutty. So QG take away Timbermill, not wanting to deal with potential EVs, Canessa's wildcard champions. We don't see too often Matchpoint respond with Ice Mines, and I feel like they're being safe with this. Matchpoint, we've seen maybe caught by surprise a little bit by the master riding strategy that's come out on this map previously, so just going with what they know, removing the potential for QG to surprise them. Serpent Beach ends up as the first pick, and again, it's very, very safe for them.
Oh, absolutely. And this is a map, Serpent Beach compared to Ice Mine. Serpent Beach, you have a more successful chance at getting a full payload conversion after you maybe capture that neutral center point. Ice Mines is very defensive friendly. So as we take a look at what this dynamic brings with this kind of more open style map, the match in general is going to be interesting based on what picks we actually get here.
And those picks should be available on your screen, starting with match point hovering Sky. You know, stolzey has a reputation for Sky. He's looking at the camera. Will it be locked in? No. You tease. You tease. It will be Makoa first, which is a relatively standard pickup for match point, opening the door for them for a whole lot else. Team QG, how are they going to respond?
You know, the interesting thing when Makoa's picked up, we have seen Fernando be prioritized very early simply because Makoa, Fernando together, it's the two highlighted big bodies in the front line, and we are going to see Fernando picked up. And actually Cassie, which is great because Matchpoint actually prefers to pick Cassie as their number 1 or number 2 pick 89% of the time.
That is a very, very frequent pick rate, and it often goes over to doesupz or maybe stolzey, but now taking it away, putting it on Knight, who we saw perform spectacularly with it earlier today. It's a good look for Team QG. Matchpoint, they're going to have to go back to basics here, and I'd love to see the Sky, but as we wait for the draft to be locked in, I'm feeling maybe Andro. We'll have to see.
The Andro is definitely probably a favorite, I would say, as they're looking at what is viable for those damage dealers to get back in now that the Cassie is offline. But that being said, we have seen the Makoa Ruckus combination very regularly today, and that's what's coming up with the support coming from the Maldamba.
And this is one of the win conditions, the trifectas that Matchpoint have been preaching since they got here. You get Makoa, Ruckus, and Maldamba, you just win the game, supposedly, unless you misplay. To counter that, Team QG will need a lot of damage to try and break through the defensive Matchpoint. Xiaolin will perfectly augment that, but as well, taking Ying for sustain, some more of that fire and forget style healing, which we saw MasterLu utilize pretty well earlier today as well.
Very, very well. And MasterLu has actually been really kind of lights out on Ying. We haven't really had a lot of time to talk about what supports have been doing, but his use of Dimensional Link with those illusions to bounce back and forth, you'll see a couple blips and you'll see Ying kind of dash in and out. That's her Dimensional Link. That's her movement skill, and he's been doing a very good job of utilizing that to stay alive.
Makes them very tricky and hard to lock down, but lock them down. Matchpoint will, at least with their final 2 picks. Androxus and Drogo's coming through, going back with the fan and the family favorite for likely stolzey, and Drogo's coming in for the area damage and the shield kill potential. I like it. Maybe vulnerable to Xiaolin, and especially to Team QG's final pickup of Victor. Up in the skies, you are well, you got a bullseye on you.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing about Victor, Knight has done a very good job. We've seen him lock down a couple of different triple kills, and I anticipate we're probably going to see him playing Victor this match as well. The big thing about this, as you look at Team QG, this is all direct damage, and most of it is mid to long range. The only thing that's going to be bringing any kind of an AoE real effect, as far as the auto attack goes, is the Fire Lance coming out of Fernando.
So we're likely to see Matchpoint looking to sit on a point hold and run with that kind of playstyle. Team QG, they're going to have to do point break, which is going to be curious when they're trying to run Fernando alongside that. But we know that point break can suffer because of Makoa. You want to sit back, you want to chip down your enemies on the objective and out, sustain them, burn through their shields, and then blast them down. But if Makoa pulls you into the mix and you've got nobody who can peel for you, you're in a bit of a tough spot.
And the other thing that's really interesting about that point, Fox, is the fact that Ying does not really have any burst heal. So if you are pulled out of position, there's really no good way to save yourself without having someone else really sacrificing their health pool to kind of cross that damage between 2 different bodies.
Can be very difficult. You marked an itemization, and we are about to head straight into game. So let's take a look at the scoreboard, see what itemization these champions pick up. But also, let's break down the players for the final time for Team QG in their 3rd set of the day.
Sporting the red trunks, it will be MasterLu playing Cassie, Mikasa on Xiaolin, SpiRa on Ying, Yi will be playing Fernando, and Knight will be playing Victor.
And of course, Matchpoint with Wardoom on Makoa, Kusqt in the Eras, Drogo, Smidgen on Maldamba, stolzey on Androxus, doesupz on Ruckus, and immediately stolzey up and over, looking for the assassination, finds multiple shots, but MasterLu picks up first blood on Cassie. Knight will be on the, as you said, the victor this time, and although Smidgen trades out for 1, this is an early advantage going through. The damage that Team QG has paying off in dividends.
I do not know what Matchpoint's doing here. They were very scattered across that entire back line. Some people sitting around the bridge, others by the sundial. It was just kind of not really here nor there. It was just kind of all over.
If I could put it in a word, I'd say overconfidence. Oh, hold that thought though, Mikasa is pulled in by Makoa. That opens up the opportunity for Matchpoint to collapse once again on the objective, and they're still leading the objective capture rate. Smidgen and stolzey cleaning up. MasterLu goes down as well to Kusqt, and stunned out by Maldamba will be Yi, going sent straight back to base. 90% on the capture point, and despite the early deficit, Matchpoint take control.
And this is where Matchpoint is going to take the ball and run with it. They're going to sit up right underneath this bridge, find a way to keep them up top or just back towards their spawn so this payload can freely move, and that's exactly what it's doing so far, Vox.
Oh, that reversal could have been huge, but stolzey can't confirm the damage. Nice jukes from QG to remove themselves from the area. Kusqt will retreat back to the safety of their team, and some support and sustain from Maldamba with the gourd as they have been poked out very low. But Wardoom opens up a kill onto Yi, and this provides Matchpoint with the opportunity to push through a complete lack of frontline. Kusqt picks up 2, but can Knight turn things around?
I really like the positioning play, even though the Cassie is likely to fall. Triple kill coming out for Kusqt, and the Dragon Punch now as well, looking for a kill. This is really going to help the payload move if he can find anybody, but there's nobody on screen.
No, and that's really good for the Fernando. Yi from the side of QG able to stay out of range of Dragon Punch, not be one-shot by the ultimate coming out of Kusqt, stays alive and now can contest the payload because it is advancing very, very rapidly. stolzey looking for Knight in the backline, can't confirm the kill. Can they find the shots around the corner? Immortal keeps them alive, and this could be the point at which we see QG hold, but no, the accursed arm takes down one, Smidgen cleans up another, and QG Reapers are being dismantled. Triple kill for the hometown hero of stolzey.
And he doesn't even need to get in the air. He says, I'm okay just sitting on my own 2 feet and using this accursed arm. That revolver coming to life with hitting for big, big, big bonuses. And now you're looking at the net worth, and it's all blue.
Oh, it certainly is, and that will give the team of Matchpoint a lot of credits with which to spend in the item store in base between rounds. What are they going to elect to go into here to really accelerate their lead?
And like we talked about during the drafting phase, everybody except for Fernando is mitigated out by Haven. You're seeing 4 of those come online, and stolzey actually looking to get right into that support space with double cauterize. That's 60% less healing coming in.
So stolzey playing the more true assassin role, not trying to brawl out around the objective, but lock down with some anti-heal, take the support and sustain away from QG. I like it. It might work, but QG have to recognize this and respond to it. Those items are available in the in-game scoreboard for everybody to see, so as they approach the objective, they've got to be watching out for this Androxus on the backside. But maybe it's Kusqt they should be more scared of, as Exify from doesupz ripped through 2!
Oh my God, all 4 falling. It is all just left to Fernando, who sprinted out and pulled up the shield and essentially said, I'm out of here, guys. I'm not sticking around, even though he is going to get pulled and brought down eventually here. Maybe not, though. The shield coming up at a very good time, and his team is getting close, but no. He still falls.
Oh, stolzey gets right up in his face, activates Defiance. The Androxus ult fire for the triple shot burst and just blasts straight through. Matchpoint 72% and rising. There's no way for QG to get anywhere near the objective because throughout all that fight, Matchpoint were capping. They hold the advantage. They get the second capture of this first game. 3-0 on the scoreboard. And now it's all up to QG to make the defense of their lifetime.
It's the defense of their lifetime for sure. The Cinderella story is online if they want to have a chance. The barrage is coming out, so damage is getting confirmed, even though no kills are showing up on your kill feed. Ruckus is very low, and the Fernando's actually going to chase it down, and you're seeing an actual salvo come out to really poke away that Fernando, and the red team now having to fall back as, again, QG finding their health pools is not at a high enough level to contest.
Hold that thought, though. No, the reversal was fed for stolzey. Ying's ultimate might have kept Knight alive, but no, the damage pushed into Androxus was just too much. On the respawn is Makoa advancing towards the objective. Ruckus too advancing, trying to keep their rate of fire up. And again, hovering this position you talked about, finds a dredge anchor, shutdown kill. Mikasa, get out of here. We're rolling forwards.
That's the power of Wardoom on Makoa. He's been stabilized as having this front line down for Matchpoint, and he's showing the strength. That was a max range, uphill hook, beautiful play, and now his team converting. You can see Victor's even saying, I'm sprinting out of here. There's no way I'm going to be able to contest.
Clean up on aisle 3. No, that's just stolzey. He's coming in looking for the double kill. Reversal is available, not going to use it instead. Accursed arm finds nothing, but provides zone. Still, the objective is contested, but with 1 minute and 10 seconds left on the clock, and no sign of this payload stopping. Matchpoint are looking at a 4-0 victory.
And a little shaky start near the beginning, but this has been just sheer domination so far from the North American favorite. They've been sitting on social media saying, we're flexing as the #1. They're showing it right now.
And as we see their faces looking at the camera, stolzey just dead-eyeing the camera there, getting a nice little wave in. Maybe, no, not treating us to that today. Maybe discussing tactics now for the next upcoming match, but what's there really to say after that previous game? Because it was just so one-sided.
And that really comes down to the fact that this team is experienced. They've been playing the game for a very, very long time as a 5-man roster, even really about almost the entire history of the organization being Matchpoint. That being said, they have the flexibility of playing any type of character. The tactics going into this next one is copy-paste.
Just go with what works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
Okay, so expect maybe some more ruckus. We did see Eevee come out last time, which would be interesting. Matchpoint can throw that in as a wild card pick, but ultimately at this point, it feels like Matchpoint, they can't be outdrafted. They'll just play anything and still win.
Absolutely. I mean, I would almost see... We've heard some talk. You mentioned it the last time they came on stage. They might be styling a little bit. We saw the Sky was hovered on for a second. We'll see if that ends up being the case. But let's take a look at this match before we go into the next one, as the scoreboard is looking like, I'm sure, as one-sided as what the result was.
One-sided, you say, but again, I'm going to draw your attention to it. Check out that solo kills column. stolzey leading the charge at 4, but only 2 more for the entire rest of the team, demonstrating Matchpoint's ability to play as a unit. Smidgen sitting at 0 deaths on Maldamba, a bit of a resident sleeper throughout the duration of that game, but sitting around the objective constantly and never contested. Who's going to dive the Maldamba from QG's team composition?
The problem is you can't just dive the Maldamba and be successful, especially what they ran. But that being said, even if you do try to focus out this support, there's just so much peel on the side of Matchpoint. You have Fire Spit that'll zone people away. You have the hook from Wardoom, which he barely even misses ever, and then that's not going to work. doesupz can just turn around and just start shredding with those dual miniguns. So it's just not really anything that is good, and Smidgen just is really good at positioning. Let's not just say that no one dove on him. He's really smart about when he uses Slither, that intargetable movement ability that Maldamba has, and that's really the key, is that he's so good at knowing the pros and cons of that character.
Absolutely, so it's knowledge of the champion and trust in your team. Their draft might not have been fruity, but Matchpoint had more peel than an orange in that previous game. I do want to draw your attention to objective time for the side of QG. Look how well Matchpoint were able to zone. We saw Yi get in and contest the payload a lot, but MasterLu able to get nowhere near the objective point. 3 seconds was all Mikasa and Knight were managing to achieve. This doesn't seem to be a deficit from QG, just more testament to how well Matchpoint were playing and their positional awareness around every objective.
Yeah, and that's a really big point as far as, you know, what can the Cassie do to even free up the battlefield a little bit to get their team closer towards that payload. She has the no fall off damage, so from any distance, her auto attacks will hit for the same. That's the big key to Cassie when you're looking at what impact to a front line they can bring. But still, the fact of the matter is there is 2 players with 3 on the objective time. The other ones are not even, barely even over 50. It just tells the story that there is no objective really at all when it comes down to converting for QG.
And what can you do when every single member besides Smidgen from Matchpoint gets up and close and personal in your face? 4 members who can split the carry role well between them. stolzey, we talk about so much. doesupz on Ruckus is definitely nothing to be sneezed at. Kusqt as well on Drogo, sitting at the highest damage in game so far. 39,000 in just 9 minutes and 23 seconds. He is constantly dishing out those rockets and the AoE fire spits. And we saw in the previous game, I think you can remember the second objective, Kusqt comes back up from behind. They're expecting stolzey, but instead it's this big AoE burst, and there's nobody who can really counter that. We talked about maybe the anti-air potential of Victor or Charlene, but it just felt like that went completely amiss in the previous round.
Well, the big thing as well is you wanted to, if you're QG, to stay together, stay cohesive, try to find a way to work the objective, or at least the map, in some favor towards yourselves.
Building on that, you've only got 1 frontliner, so you have to stay behind that 1 shield if you want to stay safe. Grouped up is exactly what Drogo's enjoys.
Yeah, and he does so well on this map too. And speaking of, it's going to be interesting to see what is picked next as we go to map number 2 in this best of 5 series. Again, QG needs to come out strong here.
Oh, Frozen Guard. Okay, that is a bit of an unusual one. It's not often that we do see Ice Mines brought into rotation this early. Previously, we've seen the Temple Isle theme favored very heavily, but Frozen Guard might just play exactly into how both of these teams want to run these games. We know that Matchpoint have made some showstopper plays on this map. But if QG want to run a very long line of sight-based team composition again with Cassie and Xiaolin, that could work out very well on this map. And why was that?
The big thing is the fact that this map is essentially, I don't mean it's one alley, but it's almost just one alley. Once you get past the convert of actually getting the payload, there's no way for you to go left or right outside of the mines. And that's a very tight area that most people like to avoid, especially as a full team. Same thing with ice mines. This is actually a really good map for a QG, simply because you are much more easily able to defend on this map. So if you're not able to capture the point, at least you might be able to get some points back and elongate the game by getting successful defenses.
So will QG run with the same bow duo, or will they elect to go a completely different route? Let's find out, as they do have first pick going into this draft. It's going to look like it's going to be Makoa. It is Makoa. That's unsurprising at this point.
Yeah, unsurprising at all. And the fact of the matter is, QG has been really learning the game throughout this entire day. You've seen them get better and better match after match after match. And Makoa is one of those really easily converted initiating base characters that will allow you off the Dredge Anchor, that hook that he has, to really neutralize and just delete a character instantly. And not surprising, Fernando picked up the counter, and one of their big priorities, Cassie.
This does open up Team QG for the potential of running into Ruckus Maldamba, which is exactly what Matchpoint did previously. We're going to see the Ruckus still by the looks of things, but instead of drafting your very strong support champion, which has been prioritized by many teams so far throughout today, it's going to be Xiaolin for some extra direct damage. Matchpoint now do have Smidgen or Kusqt's Maldamba available to them.
And that's really big when it comes down to what can you get an advantage on right now in the draft, as no healers have been taken, no support has been taken, Maldamba hovered on, and the Eevee that you mentioned might be coming into play. Indeed it will be.
Oh dear, the Winter Witch on her home turf of Frozen Guard will be rocketing skywards around the Igloo, and notably pairs very well with Maldamba, because even airborne, as long as you can hit those hit scan healer right-click shots with Maldamba, you are able to heal them up in midair. But we're seeing it first here today. The new champion to join the realm, Tyra, will be the final pick from Team QG alongside Ying.
No.
I love this, but oh
No.
my god. Oh,
No.
it will be!
Let's
stolzey,
go!
you demon! Sky locked in for Matchpoint to close things out. This game is so stylish. I can't eat. It's as stylish as you right now.
Whoa. Thank you.
I know.
I don't have the fancy knot, but at least thank you.
I can teach you.
Thanks later. So, you know, the interesting thing is, so Tyra gets picked up, and they go into Sky, and I'm gonna go away from the style pick. Sky is actually not a bad pick up here because Tyra has no mobility. So if there is a bomb that gets dropped, a toxic time bomb that gets dropped, she's gonna have a harder time getting away from it. Not to mention, there are so many good targets in the backline for Sky to pick apart.
No kidding, and Sky does have bonus % damage of maximum HP when she stacks up her poison bolt. If she confirms all 3 onto a Makoa in Ancient Rage, as long as she's not focused down, she will be able to take out that Makoa in seconds. Works very well against Ruckus too, but still, Sky does have just an 1800 health pool, one of the lowest in game in combination with Eevee, so she will be subject to maybe an Impaler arrow from Xiaolin and very easily shut down.
That's the key. The other side of things is what is Knight going to do on Tyra. But let's talk about these teams rocking the blue chunks. It will be QGSpiRa playing Makoa, MasterLu on Ying, Zing will be playing Ruckus, Mikasa on the Xiaolin, and Knight playing Tyra.
Their opponents, a Matchpoint, 1-up in the set so far. Kusqt leads the charge on Maldamba. Smidgen will be playing Eevee, stolzey on Sky as predicted. Wardoom taking Fernando, doesupz on Ruckus, and let's check out where this Sky goes with their Master Riding bonus mount speed straight to the backline, but there's nobody to be found here.
Yeah, finding the Maldamba though on the side is going to be kind of a nice team up. The Ice Block on point. It will be first blood to the Sky, and here comes all the damage coming out from doesupz, and a double kill for Maldamba on Kusqt.
Looking for a third one, but stolzey snaps that away. 2 for 2, and one to finish it off. Full team wipe in a matter of seconds for Team QG. And whilst we have the opportunity and Matchpoint zone heavily on the respawns, 4 players forcing out, leaving just Smidgen on the objective. Knight on Tyra going into Illuminate, an item which enables you to see stealth champions from further away. How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's understandable, but I still think unnecessary. I mean, if you have the communication as a team to relate the Sky is here, you don't need it because you should be able to turn around and focus. That just shows how terrified they are against this Sky, as the objective is captured, so that timer will count down at the top of your screen, signifying not only the progress that payload's making, but how much time until overtime they have to get a successful push.
Wardoom will be trying to spearhead this charge, just forcing out the issue, finds the opportunity for a fireball around the backside, doesn't confirm bonus damage, is pulled out their shield as well, planted comes through, MasterLu gets credit for that kill, shutting them down, and stolzey is forced to retreat, hiding in smoke screens so they can't be easily shut down, but Lightning will be punished for this, yes! Knight gets themselves on the board and takes out the Twilight Assassin.
Yeah, and the big thing about Knight playing Tyra, the thing to keep in mind is the closer she is, that assault rifle does bonus and extra damage. So getting in the face, or at least staying mid-range to the different characters for match point is going to really benefit the damage output from that Tyra. Wow.
Did you see that dodge roll as well? Just getting barely out of the way of Dredgeanchor was doesupz. Disengages the rockets off the edge of the map. Wardoom getting credit for that kill, but nice situational environmental hazard play. Can they find another one? No, disengage is still down, but doesupz is definitely still up. Finds the bonus damage, dodge roll shot onto Mikasa. Nobody to contest. They come out of spawn. Tyra shut down immediately. Match point, they know how to combo play.
Absolutely they do, and just individually, doesupz was dodging in and out of projectiles. You mentioned the fact he dodged the Dredgeanchor, but then also dodged the Shaolin and pinned him up and got the bonus damage, plus the life steal, which is helping sustain due to the loadout that he has in his cards.
So let's just talk this Tyra versus Skye matchup once again. You got to remember that Tyra does have an ability in her kit instead of a movement ability, Hunter's Mark, which does reveal targets no matter where they are on the map, as long as you can confirm it onto them. If Skye goes invisible whilst it's active, they will be revealed. Does this make Illuminate worthless at this point?
And Knight is going into a second option of it as well. He saw the net worth was very favoring match point, so I don't know if this is really a very good investment in character credits. But on top of that, it's actually interesting to see the Ying, even though there's been so many deaths on the side of QG, is staying up on top of this healing stat and right there with the Meltamba.
You mentioned how masterful MasterLu was earlier in the game. Let's see if they can help their team pull through a victory. Mikasa takes out stolzey. Will Time Bomb find a return kill? Knight, as you said, immobile as Tyra is shut down, and now Wardoom is pushing out forwards, trying to find some shots into the enemies. Smidgen is pummeling straight into everybody on QG. As we do see MasterLu fall, this will be another team wipe coming through, and despite the 39% cap for QG, match point will quickly race ahead and look exactly where they're going. Same place again.
Same place again, and it's raising very quickly, and it's going to be very well sustained due to, again, how aggressive this zone is. Everyone's picking a lane and essentially saying, we can dismount, we can even pick some fights. As you see, Wardoom is getting right in there as this Fernando, not scared whatsoever, but actually gets pulled by a max range hook from QGSpiRa, who's able to convert, helping out, getting 2 kills, and now it's going to be QG coming right back at it. Even though the payload is converted, they have a chance to get some positioning favorites.
It still doesn't matter for the capture, but as you said, if match point can be shut down here, if QG can stem the bleeding, then they have the opportunity to set up a defense under the archways. We do see doesupz looking for Ying. They can't quite find the kill, but here's stolzey again in the back line looking for a kill. Oh my goodness, I see what you mean about this Ying play. That was ridiculous.
Dancing around the clone because, again, damage is taken by those clones, but oh my goodness, you hear the ticking in the background, and now there's a Dread Serpent as well. It's going to be all in favor of Matchpoint as they try to move this payload forward. A good hook, though, again. The Fernando getting pulled more often than I think he thought he might be.
Wardoom, yeah, he's very vulnerable to these Dredgeanchors. Seems to be overplaying himself a little bit, as well as Smidgen pulled in. Slither is down, looking for the shutdown. QGSpiRa does miss a shot. Immortal comes out from Fernando. Fantastic defensive ultimate in combination with Ice Storm. Shuts down all the aggression from Team QG. Double kill for Smidgen, and the rest of Matchpoint will push forwards towards the conversion again. 5 minutes, 45 seconds in. This is looking like it's already over.
It's getting pretty close. We won't quite say it yet because, of course, that's the most famous of last words as we usually have happen. But, again, this has been such a dominating performance. Smidgen doing a really good job on Eevee, usually playing support, showing that he can flex just as much on the Winter Witch.
Now we need to see the heroic plays come out of somebody. Anybody to hold this one down. Hexafire will buy time for Mikasa to take out Smidgen, but Time Bomb using close proximity. Who's going to fall? Nobody to stolzey except at the end. doesupz cleans up too. Nobody can contest. Match point, roll it through another 4-0 sweep.
Very easy indeed for them. You'd be able to show off and really flex different variety of picks. Again, talking about the fact that Smidgen can go back and forth between support and damage and do really well on Eevee. But on top of that, the Skye being thrown in, really, that's the highlight there, is what we've been kind of waiting for from match point.
We don't see it often, but what was nice to see is, as you remarked, Sky goes in, drops 3 poison bolts to Makoa, shreds through completely. It was only Ancient Rage in that last push, which did save the Makoa for the side of QG, but it just wasn't enough to hold back the tide that is match point. They're an unstoppable force right now, and they are yet to meet an immovable object. And I've got to ask you, it doesn't seem to come down to draft in any way. QG, they've got to change something more fundamental if they want to stand a chance versus these juggernauts.
Absolutely, and we saw them struggle, you know, rather pretty badly against Disher 69 earlier, but again, that's the first match of the day, and as we have said, and Kret hit it on it really nicely, was the fact that this team is learning and they're really developing very nicely as a squad, and you can start to see they're starting to understand how to best combine ultimates, how other players are doing it live in a competitive environment, and they're doing a pretty good job of at least mimicking and finding their own way to stylize a little bit as well.
I also do really like that QG aren't afraid to pull out the Tyra pick. Now, most teams would find that unbearable. She has very limited movement. She is easy to shut down from champions or by champions like Eevee, but they're going to go with something different to kick things up a notch, to throw a spanner in the works. Matchpoint did the same, but I mean, we've had Sky in the game for a very long time. So Tyra brings something new, but was it enough? I don't know. We'll find out on the scoreboard to see how much impact she had on the game, or if it was a bit of a flop. Let's take a look.
The big thing, again, that I first look at when I glance at these screens is what the eliminations look like throughout the team. You can see there are no solo kills on the side of QG, which again shows that they were not able to find any individual success. And on the flip side, 4 individual kills for stolzey, which is a success, I would say, for Sky. That's what you want to find, is getting pressure in that back line.
No kidding, and the amount of deaths picked up by Matchpoint is incredibly low across the board, except stolzey, and as we remarked earlier, Sky, 1800 HP, has to be up close and personal if she wants to do any kind of damage. She's going to be in a vulnerable spot, but the distraction you bring with that is so valuable, and also that's why stolzey picked up Master Riding to get back to the fight faster with your increased mount speed. On the top side, though, again, let's talk Knight, let's talk Tyra. It's the first time we've seen this champion played competitively in this kind of environment at all. How does she perform compared to other champions that we've seen earlier today, do you feel?
I mean, 7-7 is not bad as an overall stat line for eliminations and deaths, especially considering what just happened.
Especially considering that you're fighting into 2 flankers who are great at taking out immobile targets. That's actually a very impressive stat line considering what you're fighting into.
And a lot of that comes down to, the team gets a lot of value out of seeing the mark, the reveal that comes with that ability, and on top of that, that bonus damage will help you secure kills a little bit better. On top of that, you can see the damage was actually pretty right up there. Surprisingly, the Makoa had a lot, again, based on a lot of really great hooks. I don't know if we've talked about it much, but once you get that hook and pull them closer, that first cannon blast does a big bonus boost of damage.
Certainly does. Over 1,000 pre-mitigation from items like Haven, and Spyra was fantastic at confirming those objective pulls, especially onto Fernando, but still, Tyra maybe not the solution that QG were looking for. Let's take a look at the 3rd map pick of today to find out if QG can gain an advantage here.
Jaguar Falls. We've seen it a lot.
Jaguar Falls.
Your British is just... Let's not go to Jaguar.
It just is.
I can't... do it again. Let me try and impress you and impersonate you.
Okay. Jaguar.
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 Okay. Yes.
So Jaguar Falls is where we're going to be going. I'm now turned into Vox.
I feel like I need a cup of tea listening to you say that to me. We've seen Jaguar Falls a few times earlier today. It's very close quarters. Ruckus definitely favored here, although I can say safely the Ruckus has been favored on most maps so far. This is actually somewhere where Tyra could be useful. You've got a lot of close quarters areas. If QG want to pull it out again, they could find Firebomb paying dividends towards them.
They absolutely could. And again, Firebomb is great because it reduces healing in that area that the Firebomb comes down on, which is really big when it comes to, especially against a Ruckus who's not very mobile because he's just got the advance. And on top of that, he's relying on healing to stay in front of that fight. So that's an option. The other interesting point with Ruckus is he's been played in every single match but one today, which is really interesting because you rewind a couple of weeks, even a month ago, and people were barely even touching Ruckus. He hasn't really changed much. People are just figuring out how he works now.
We saw a little bit of Ruckus back in the ESL tournaments a few weeks ago. Notably, a player called Waters was running that a little bit. They're the hipster at this point, running Ruckus before it's cool, but players are quickly tuned in to how to best utilize them. Will Ruckus go to either team at this point? It didn't work out for QG, but it certainly did for Matchpoint. The draft is ready. Let's take a look and find out who is going to get their priority pick first up. Team QG, what are they going into?
I have to imagine, I was going to say they have to establish their front line. They've done such a good job with Makoa, but you know, Knight, we saw him play very, very impressively on the Cassie, so I actually really like going for the establishment and getting Knight something that he feels comfortable on and can pull out an impact, but again, that leaves Fernando Makoa alive.
But this means that Matchpoint won't be going into Ruckus unless they draft 3 frontliners, which leaves them vulnerable to a lot of Wrecker pickups and a lot of damage from champions like Drogoz. That one-shot potential against these high health pools is so valuable. How will QG respond? They're going to take Ruckus to make sure Matchpoint don't get that opportunity lest they go into Barrack. Maldamba to QG sitting on a very strong draft so far, but they will have a vulnerable front line.
Yeah, and the interesting thing as I'm looking at Team QG and I'm starting to do the whole thinking is, do they possibly elect to continue to go double front line and pick up a Barrack along with the Ruckus? Because right now, Ruckus is in a very vulnerable spot to those hooks. I mean, it's just going to be very devastating for him to stay on point and feel safe. Cassie can close distance to help secure a little bit of damage, and of course, the disengage, her right click, will help push people away. But it's just going to be interesting to see if they decide to go that way. And Droxus and Ying, though, were picked up for match point, which again establishes that damage and support.
Oh, not a Barrack that we might have been expecting. Oh boy, it's Grover. Praise be to the Church of Grover. Pretty hair, I know you're in the audience somewhere. I hope you're happy. This means double support for QG, banking on survivability and sustain to keep their Ruckus alive. But I would have honestly liked to see the Barrack more, because who on Matchpoint is going to be able to shred through shields?
I mean, the thing about it is they don't even have to worry about shedding through shields now. They can all invest straight into Cauterize and start taking away all of that healing. Again, Cauterize is that anti-heal card, and with, again, Maldamba and Grover being the 2 supports, I guess I'm kind of scratching my head a little bit as far as where Team QG thinks they're going to get their value from. They have good damage. Cassie Shaolin can provide a lot of output very quickly. The big key here is if they do not have a front line to set up that Shaolin or Cassie, they're going to have a very tough game.
Well, again, unlike Matchpoint, who have drafted Drogoz as their last pick, Team QG have no source of area damage in their lineup besides Maldamba's Gourd at this point and Cassie's Blast Shot, which we can negate that at this point. Matchpoint, as you said, it's simple. They go Haven, they go Cauterize. It's game Grover for Grover.
I mean, it's going to be very difficult. The key here, and this is what we need to keep in mind, is those items get online late game and they become that much more impactful. If Team QG can find a way to get themselves established early, if they can possibly find a way to go 2-0 on Jaguar Falls here, I really think that they do have a shot to maybe put a little bit of pressure on Matchpoint, get that early net worth in their favor, and see what happens.
Well, I can certainly appreciate that. Maybe Snowball is the name of the game as we do transition into Jaguar Falls. 3rd game up in this set. Team QG on the left-hand side, headed by Mikasa on QGSpiRa. Picks up GroverMasterLu on Maldamba. Yi will be playing Ruckus, and Knight rounding out the draft as Cassie.
And for the North American favorites in match point, Smidgen on the Makoa, Kusqt will be playing Ying, stolzey on Androxus, Wardoom, rocking the Fernando, and doesupz will be headed up with the thrust to the skies, playing Drogoz.
Look at this positioning right now coming out of Mikasa. They're very, very apprehensive. All of QG are holding back, waiting for Matchpoint to make a move, and whilst I like this defensive playstyle because it doesn't allow them to get pincered, look at the capture rate. It's 36% and climbing. Halfway there is going to be given completely free to Matchpoint, and now Team QG have a great deal of pressure on them to force their way in. Can they find an opening? No, stolzey picks up first blood, but he's going to be in a very vulnerable spot.
Oh, the Dragon Spit, the Fire Spit pushing everybody out of his way. In fact, the big key here is 84% already. No one from QG has even looked at the point, let alone set a foot on it. Now they're finally getting there. And again, you can see the repulsor field coming online is going to give that AoE shielding to a number of their players, getting the damage reduction. But still, there are too many big bodies, and the pull and the peel is very strong. Kusqt getting a completion on the kill.
And now we're going to see stolzey take out Knight, advance towards the objective. Needs one more shot into Grover. Wait a second. stolzey was just outboxed by a Grover, but regardless, I feel like it doesn't matter. He's missing every shot right now on Androxus as well, but it doesn't matter because Smidgen is picking up the dead weight of their #1 teammate. Cleans up 2, and the capture rolls through for match point 1-0.
And that's just, again, comes down to, I understand what QG was trying to do. Be patient, see if they're going to flank, try to get the jump on them, but you don't have the double front line. You don't have the big bodies up front. It's very difficult to break that. Match point electing to go straight for that point, getting that early capture. Now Ruckus in a really bad spot thanks to that pull from
Up goes stolzey, a cursed arm from the air, drops damage onto Grover, who has been a great deal of trouble. Killing spree for stolzey. They miss the reversal return damage, but can they find the last shot onto Maldamba? They do. Looking for another pickup. Cassie is the one they're going to focus on. Double kill for stolzey. Knight shut down on a rampage is the monster. He's found his aim again. again, and Matchpoint are barreling down the highway towards conversion.
It just took a second, you know, shrug their shoulders a little bit. Dragon Punch coming out, though, looking to, again, sit that zone up. It doesn't matter who he takes out, as long as they get the odd man situation. He does find the Grover, so not a lot of healing coming out of that little sustained 20 per second, but things going very well again. You hear the Immortal in the background, but so much damage coming out on top of every character on QG. They're not able to stay on top of this payload.
And MasterLu has just got that Dread Serpent up. There might have bought enough time for a defense. The Dreadjagger comes through. Wardoom throws out a fireball. doesupz is in trouble, but the rest of the team is here to rally behind them. And Matchpoint push it through. 3 minutes, 25 seconds into game number 3, and they're 2 up already.
And this is not what you want to see if you're Team QG. All 5 players have a higher net worth, allowing them to invest straight up into those itemizations that are going to counter out the team comp for Team QG. And you can see it. There are 4 cauterizes on board, 3 Havens. So again, investing more into that cauterize. 2 of them have it at level 2 already.
Well, that will be 3 of them, as stolzey has just selected to go into level 2 as well. 60% healing reduction to any champion hit by those 3 champions' weapon attacks. If you're playing Ying, you can kind of spin around in a circle and just fire it and apply it onto everybody. Team QG, I feel like they've got to be more aggressive in their approach this time. They can't hold back as much.
Yeah, you cannot fall further behind than you already are. The problem is they're already fighting from underneath all of this incredible itemization that's coming out from Matchpoint, so it's that much harder. But they need to find a pick right here if they can. You can see that they're putting the Ruckus right on top of the point, but the hooks are trying to come up. The Dread Serpent is available if they choose to use it here, Vox.
MasterLu is getting ready. Dread Serpent spins out. The damage needs to come through. stolzey is trying to clean up the support for this side of Team QG, but no, the Grover Ultimate Whirlwind keeps everybody alive still. doesupz finds conversion on 1 kill, is shot out the air by Knight, and stolzey is looking to clean up in the backline. 1 more shot required, and Smidgen will seal it away, but Matchpoint, they're playing as a team, and despite their 42% lead for QG, the team in red, Matchpoint, pull themselves back in.
There's nothing more exciting than hearing all the ultimates get channeled and not seeing a kill feed register any kills. That's just
what's going on.
It's great counter ultimates. But talking about ultimates, the Androxus Cursed Arm looking to burst out and poke a little bit is rather successful. No kills confirmed, but again, it keeps QG from getting into that phase as we're at 99%, and now the objective captured 3-0 and looking to close out and getting themselves a 2-0 match score throughout this group will be match point.
If Team QG need or want to defend here, they're going to have to make a stand sooner rather than later. They cannot allow the payload to barrel down the highway as it did previously. They've got to stall it out in this spawn point choke. But everybody in QG is split up. stolzey's looking for picks here. Reversal is up, absorbing damage. Doesn't throw any back. Nobody fed it, so great awareness from QG. But still, Kusqt is ready. Up in the air. doesupz is ready. He's looking for a kill on the backside. Finds one. And QG crumble before the Dragon's Fury.
Yeah, that's another good pick on the Grover. Again, getting that healing just off the board. Don't even worry about it. No sweat, no worries. 1:43 left on the clock. And again, this payload is just moving and trucking its way up the hill and looking to close this out in about 6 minutes.
There's a Shaolin back here. stolzey has spotted out Mikasa. Elects to never step away because how is this Shaolin going to close the gap? It's a 5v4 in favor of Matchpoint, but actually stolzey is waiting for the opportunity. Hold that thought though. Hexafire comes through. Will the speed of defense that we need to see from Team QG, or will they crumble?
No, it was a great turtle shell shield right there to mitigate all that damage, and now with the converse side of it, Matchpoint able to just finish and close things out. They're looking real strong. Real strong.
3-4-0 sweeps in a row. Matchpoint living up to their bravado, living up to their name. Absolutely unstoppable so far. They are yet to meet any form of opposition, and with District 69 being their final opponent today, I'm wondering if they're actually going to at all.
Well, the big thing, it's just so hard to gauge. We're going to get a good look at District 69 as they come up to finish off Black Dragon's Day, who this will be their 3rd match. But the big thing as we look forward is, what can we base on what we've seen so far from Matchpoint and what we've seen so far from District 69? Both teams have done very well against Team QG, and of course, they're both kind of looking forward to Match 6, which is that highlighted EU-NA showdown that we'll have in a couple sets.
I feel like they're going to be testing the water there, to say the least, but Matchpoint, they were a little bit of smiles and glee. Now straight back to business, just getting talking. What worked, what didn't, how are we feeling about that, and how can we proceed going in? Of course, facing QG and then preparing for District 69. We can't forget District 69 are a completely different breed, being prior LAN champions, having beaten out, in fact, the team which beat out the old Matchpoint team, and that's going to get confusing, which was Warpath Gaming at DreamHack Summer, and as a result, they want to be collecting their thoughts and making sure they don't get too overconfident. There is this posturing, there is this bravado, but at a core, they are very sure of what they know, and they know their limits.
Yeah, absolutely. And to wrap up the day, that's the last match for Team QG. We'll see how they fared in this last matchup. And again, the interesting comps. I think that there's a lot of experience gained here for Team QG as you look at what they were able to bring to the table, what was successful for them, what maybe not so successful. And you can see a couple of characters not even finding their way in the scoreboard for eliminations. Again, showing that maybe Grover double support wasn't the best choice.
Maybe just a little bit. I mean, 21,000 damage isn't the lowest on the team. That's MasterLu and Maldamba, but I do feel like they were just missing something central. I said it in the drafting phase. I would have loved to see a Barrett come out to supplement the Ruckus in the previous game. I think that would have forced a lot more of a split between Cauterize and Rekka from match point, and given match point a much harder time instead of just being able to itemize into 2 single items throughout the entire duration of the game for most of their champions, and having a very cheap and cost-efficient path to counter out QG's draft entirely.
Yeah, and you know, looking back to the experience that both of these teams have had, Matchpoint has international line experience. They feel very comfortable. They're in North America. Cust isn't even wearing shoes right now. He's just got socks on. He's just feeling that comfortable. And on the other side, QG has only had a chance to really face up against all gamers in their qualifying set, and now they have the ability to go, hey, let's take a look back at what happened. Where is the meta right now for most of Paladins, and what can we do to either bring our own style to that, or possibly change it, or just find their way in?
And ultimately, that is what it comes down to. It's a fantastic learning experience for these teams, and it will breathe a breath of fresh air into the newly established Chinese Paladins scene, which is fantastic. They can take everything they've learned here, bring it home, and start to dominate the competition there, as well as improve maybe their opposition in a way, build the scene up as a whole, and come back stronger when we do see them in the international scene again.
And going into what we're going to see next, Black Dragons will be facing their final matchup of the day. They're sitting at an 0-2 set right now, which essentially means that things are not looking good for them as far as getting into the semifinal. They will be meeting up against District 69, which again, there's still a lot riding on this. If D69 does fall, it kind of puts them in a spot where they have to go through and they have to either challenge or beat Matchpoint, because you don't want to be sitting there in a situation where you're going to be going into semifinals as the number 2 seed out of Group A.
Bit more than a puzzle, definitely something of a challenge, but to wrap up the day, once again, what feels like a show match with the amount of history that these two teams have within each other and their cross-regional scrims, Matchpoint and District 69 to end everything.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see District 69 has had a lot of time off at this point. You know, they played the first match, and we haven't seen them since. So they've probably had some time to get restful and kind of get themselves re-energized, and now they have a chance to come back out, get back on the computer, start to show that they want to be considered the reigning champions of our last invitational-based tournament in DreamHack, and start to flex on this North American favorite.
I do feel like we also have to mention that now District 69 have had the opportunity to watch their opponents. They've seen Black Dragons play, they've just seen Matchpoint play a doubleheader, so they're going to be getting ready and gearing up to some of the tactics and strategies which they saw earlier today. But speaking of things that you can see live from home, if you're watching on twitch.tv/Paladins Game, rejoice! We have Twitch linking available for you now. You can earn free loot and have a chance at earning free loot in-game just by watching this stream. All you have to do is visit highresstudios.com/link to link your HighRes and your Twitch accounts together. And then all you have to do is watch. I mean, that's the dream, right?
That's absolutely the dream. I could just sit and watch great Paladins and get free stuff. Sign me up.
Fantastic.
But on top of that, if you want more free stuff, we just had the Christmas special, but now we also have the High-Res Expo special, where you can find the digital loot pack in-game that'll have, we didn't see any sprays, but there's a couple of really stylish ones in that loot pack.
There certainly are. We've got a trophy in there, we've got some logos in there as well, but that's not all. We've got 3 sprays. We've also got a couple of MVP poses for Victor and Fernando, as well as 2 limited skins for Victor and Fernando, and the Convention 2017 Ying skin, all of which are absolutely beautiful. Of course, that was a Matchpoint versus QG. Matchpoint taking the 3-0 victory in the best of 5 set. My name has been Vox, joined here today by I Hold Shift, and we've had now the Hi-Res Expo special. We're about to have the Shift special, as you're going to return for the next set coming up, District 69 versus Black Dragons, in just a couple of minutes.